Only mode.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the PACE University Paralegal Certificate Program Information Session Webinar. My name is Stephanie Plowman, and I am Program Coordinator for the PACE Paralegal Program. With me this evening is Jamie Leota, Program Manager from PACE University. Hi, Jamie. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. And we're thankful that all of you are with us as well this evening. Now, I'm going to put Jamie on mute in a moment because I'm going to cover all of the material in the beginning, and Jamie is going to come back in the end to talk about financing and registration and all of that good stuff. But one housekeeping matter before we get started, this system is incredibly sensitive. So everybody is on mute, including, like I said, Jamie in a couple minutes. Otherwise, we will pick up all sorts of background noise and we won't be able to hear the presentation. So if you do have questions, and we are always ready, willing, and able to take your questions, you can find a questions box in the GoToMeeting toolbar on your screen. If you type a question into that box, it will pop up on my screen and I'll read it out loud, and either Jamie or myself will field that question and everyone will receive the benefit of the answer. Now, of course, at the end of the session this evening, we will be opening it up to questions, but if anything comes up as we're going along, please feel free to type your question into the box. If there's a reasonable time for me to take a moment and read the question and answer it, I will certainly do so. If not, we will wait until the end to answer your questions. So, with all of that being said, let's get started. All right, now what we're going to do tonight is we're going to talk about the paralegal profession in general a little bit, and then we're going to get into the specifics of the PACE program. Now, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, the paralegal profession is projected to grow by about 8% between 2014 and 2024. Now, this is a fairly good rate of growth given everything that's been going on in the economy over the last, I don't know, I want to say 7, 8 years or so. In particular, law firms, legal corporations are finding that it's much more cost effective for them to bring in paralegals because for all intents and purposes, paralegals can do the same type of work as young or associate attorneys, but for, of course, advising clients and going to court. But when it comes to writing, when it comes to research, meeting with clients, interviewing clients, getting information for the attorneys, file work, things like that, the law firms and legal departments are finding that paralegals are uniquely situated to be able to handle that work. And again, it's also a lot more cost effective for them. Now, there are also areas of the law which I like to refer to as niche areas, for lack of a better term. Now, in addition to being program coordinator for the PACE Paralegal Program, I'm also a practicing attorney in New York. And while my specialty is federal criminal defense, since I work for a solo practitioner, every so often I will be asked to, let's say, handle the closing when his sister wants to sell her house. So in particular, I had one such instance where I dealt with the paralegal on the other side of the transaction pretty much from beginning to end. And she was absolutely spectacular. And again, since it's not my expertise, she answered all of my questions with great knowledge and also great patience. But there are certain areas of the law like that, real estate, which can be a little bit form heavy, intellectual property also a little bit form heavy, where paralegals can have a lot of responsibility and a lot of autonomy once they get into them. Other areas of law which are pretty hot these days and paralegals can do well in and get that responsibility and autonomy: immigration, especially if you're ready, willing, and able to keep up with the ever-changing immigration laws. And also, there's always bankruptcy, there's always matrimonial law going on. So those are also great areas where paralegals can do a lot of good work. Now, this is actually my favorite slide. Paralegal is a better job than lawyer. The best, I guess, example of this is several years ago, my firm was working on a huge federal civil litigation. And on New Year's Eve day, the defendant turned over 250,000 documents in discovery. Now, there was absolutely no way that we were going to be able to go through all those documents on our own, so we brought in about 8 or 9 paralegals from the program. Now, at the outset, we brought them in to simply cull through the documents, more of a document review type project, find out what was there, make a master list for us so we would be able to find what we needed to find. But as time went on and as they got more comfortable with the case, they were bringing documents to our attention that they thought would be helpful to us. They were helping with the writing and the research of the constant motions that were going back and forth. And they came to court with us on numerous occasions. Now, the difference between the paralegals and, let's say, myself was that they were working, regular hours, 9 to 5, 10 to 6, hours like that, whereas I was still sitting in the conference room marking exhibits and eating a pizza for one at 3 o'clock in the morning. But certainly, no matter whether you're a paralegal or a lawyer, during litigation, especially if you're working at a litigation firm, there's going to be stressful times as you are getting ready for trial, and you'll have to put in some extra hours. But in general, the hours are certainly better for paralegals than lawyers. You don't take the job home with you quite as much as you do when you are an attorney, and you don't get the constant crazy calls from clients as the attorneys do. Now, you'll often see when you're looking for a paralegal position via whatever online database you're looking at, whether it be Monster or Indeed or any of the other ones out there, you'll see that law firms and legal departments are looking for paralegals who either have a paralegal certificate, paralegal education, or experience. And really, when it comes down to it, and from my perspective, those two things are interchangeable, because what they are looking for is someone who doesn't have a huge learning curve when they come into the office and when they come into that position. An attorney wants to be able to hand his or her paralegal a file and say, please go draft this, a summons and complaint, a new automobile accident case came into our office. Here's a template of an old summons and complaint. Here's the file. Let me see what you can do. Now, someone who has their paralegal certificate, hopefully from Pace University, or certainly has paralegal experience, will be able to take that file and draft a nice summons and complaint that'll be ready to file after the attorney reviews it. Attorneys are looking for someone who doesn't have that, quote unquote, deer in a headlight look when they're handed a file and asked to do something, that they can either sit down and do it, or they can figure out how to do it, know where to look, know where to find a template, know where to find the rules, just know the steps to take. For all of the good intentions that attorneys have, myself included, of wanting to spend a lot of time training new paralegals who come into the office, we don't always have the time to do that. So in the time that it may take us to explain, this is what a summons and complaint is, and this is how it's used in the litigation process, we could just draft that summons and complaint and be done with it. So I'll often talk to paralegals who are looking for a position, and I actually just received an email from a paralegal in one of the current classes right now, asking me if I thought that it was be a good idea to, start applying for jobs. And I said, yes, absolutely. You were learning the skills that you need to get out there into the profession. But certainly, as far as legal education is concerned and a paralegal certificate, you shouldn't shy away from any job postings that you see that you may be interested in that are specifically looking for experience, because what they are looking for is someone who can do what the employer needs them to do without a lot of hand-holding. And then finally, as far as income is concerned, and I get this question a lot during info sessions, number one, am I gonna find a job? And number two, what am I gonna be paid? Now, we're talking about the PACE program. It's in New York City in Westchester County, so it's certainly a huge market, lots of law firms, lots of legal departments, lots more money to go around than in a smaller market. But in general, it really does depend upon what kind of firm you go to. Certainly someone who works at a smaller boutique type firm or with a solo practitioner is going to earn less than someone who's at like a big Wall Street type firm. But in general, according to the National Association of Legal Assistants, those who have a paralegal certificate do earn slightly more than those who do not once they get out into the legal world. So every little bit helps, of course, when it comes to your salary at the end of the day. All right, now let's get into the specifics of the PACE program. Now, this is a 5-month intensive program that's broken down into 2 core components. The first is your essential skills class, which is basically an introduction to the law, legal writing, legal research, courthouse structure, terminology. On the first day you walk into class, you'll be assigned a hypothetical client and fact pattern, and you'll work that client and fact pattern the whole way through in all of your writing assignments for the course. So you'll start off with simple legal writing assignments such as a demand letter and client correspondence, work your way up to interoffice memo, that summons and complaint I mentioned before, and finish off with a summary judgment motion. Now, at the end of the day, you will put all of those assignments into your client file folder, also known as a writing sample to show to prospective employers. Then not only do you know what all of these documents are for and how they're used in the litigation process, but here are the documents that you yourself have drafted. Now, in addition to the writing component of essential skills, you also will take 3 exams over the course of the semester. And in order to pass essential skills, you must obtain a 70% or higher in both components, the exam component and the writing component. Now, essentials runs for the entire duration of the semester. So if you're looking at one of the evening programs, for instance, Monday, Wednesday, you'll have essential skills every Monday night. Now, the remainder of the semesters, and we'll get more into scheduling and how the classes are broken down and our upcoming semester, etc., once we get a little further along this evening. But the remainder of the semester will be broken down into 4 different substantive areas of law. So you'll have 4 weeks of tort law, 4 weeks of contracts, 4 weeks of New York procedures, and then family law. Now, if you are doing the math, 5-month program, 4 weeks each of the 4 substantives, that's only 4 months. The remainder of those classes are turned over to essential skills for additional essential skills classes. Now, in your substantive classes, you will submit 1 assignment and you will take an exam. And just like essentials, you need to obtain a 70% or higher in order to pass each one of your substantive classes. Now, all of your instructors are taught, or all of your courses are taught by practicing attorneys or judges in the New York area. The majority of our instructors have actually been with us since the program began about 7 years ago. So they are tried and true. They are dedicated. They are in the classroom for the sheer joy of teaching. And they're all experts in their particular field. So you're definitely in very good hands when it comes to your paralegal instructors in the program. Now, with all of that being said, we've been staring at this slide for quite a while, the slide for Paralegal Space, which is our communications portal among instructors, administrators, and students. Now, at the outset, it is a way to communicate with everybody. We'll post announcements for you to share information to the entire class. There's a class change, your syllabus is posted, things like that. But more importantly, it is an area where you can find amazing study support that accompanies each one of your classes. Now, when you first register for the program and shortly before classes start, you will receive your login information for Paralegal Space, and this is what you'll see, the login page when you go to the site. Now, when you log in over here on the left-hand side, you can see a series of links. We're going to go through a couple of those this evening. Here are some of those announcements that I referenced before. Again, we love to communicate via announcement. As I said, it's a great way to convey information to the entire class as a whole. Make sure you don't miss anything. But let's take a look at one of our first links, which is the syllabus link. Under this link is where you will find the main program syllabus, which is what we're looking at right now, as well as the syllabi that are posted for your substantive classes. Now, this is for an evening syllabus. If you are interested in a weekend program and want to know more about that schedule, again, we'll talk about it a little bit more as we get further along, but the weekend classes have essential skills in the morning, so that's what you would see over here on the left-hand side, and then the substantive classes in the afternoon. But you can see for essential skills, it essentially lays out everything you're going to do from the first class, and you'll have to take my word for it, to the very last class. So all of your reading, all of your assignments, your exams, everything you're going to do in essential skills is set out for you on this main program syllabus. You can see over here on the right-hand side, we simply have the schedule for each one of your substantive classes. That's because, as I mentioned, each one of your substantive instructors will post his or her own individual syllabi with reading assignments just prior to each one of those first classes. Now, again, you'll know prior to starting the program everything you're going to do for essentials, and you can see the schedule, so you'll know that, let's say, during week 6, your first writing assignments will be assigned, and they'll be due during week 8. So certainly with the fall semester in particular, where we have a lot of built-in holidays, of course, you can gauge your time accordingly. If you know that you're going to be going out of town, or you know that you have something coming up, you have your full schedule for the semester right in front of you. Now, the resources link is one area of the site where we post resources. It is what it is, for you to assist you with all of your courses. This isn't the main area of study support on the site. We're going to get to that in a minute, but this is an area where your instructors and administrators will post additional PowerPoints, documents, templates, anything that they feel will be helpful to you as you are working through the materials in the program. But the main area of study support for the site, and I should probably just go back a minute to point out the link, can be found for Essential Skills under the Essential Skills Support link, and then for 3 of the 4 substantives, torts, contracts, and family law, under those links. Now, New York Procedures does not have the same structured study support as the other courses do. That's because that course is developed by each one of the individual instructors. But as you can see, there is a New York Procedures folder with 21 items in it. So we have lots of additional postings for you for procedures to assist with the materials that you are going through, both in your book and in class. But what we recommend that you do is read the materials prior to coming to class, come to class and listen to and participate in the lectures, and then work through the corresponding study support. It builds upon what you are discussing in class. It is a great review for all the materials that you're discussing in class. And there are lots of mock exams and quizzes and such where you can test yourself and determine what areas you may be experts in and what areas you may need a little more help in. So it is very important to utilize the study support in conjunction with your reading and in-class materials. Learning the law can be like learning a foreign language, and it's not just because there's a lot of Latin involved, but it's a different way of thinking, it's a different way of speaking, it's a different way of analyzing things. And certainly, as with anything, practice makes perfect. So working through the online support will assist you in understanding these concepts and making sure that you are ready for your assignments and your exams. Now, we just got a question, is the program offered online as well? Yes, it is. I'm going to leave that answer to a yes for now, because we have some slides about the online program coming up. And the online program has of course, access to Paralegal Space and all of the study support as well. So everything that we're going to go through next is relevant to the online program also. Now, we like to keep it interesting with the study support, so it's not exactly the same thing every time within Essential Skills. So you'll see that there is interactive support, there are charts, there are all sorts of different files for you to go through and things to read, and I don't know what this is, a graph. I'm missing the word. I was just going to ask Jamie, but I put her on mute, so we'll leave it at that. But as you can see, there's all sorts of support here in all sorts of formats to help you understand the law and the concepts. There are exercises, tools, charts, demonstrations, all sorts of things. So as you can see, there are different problems. You can test yourself as you are going through, not just on what the definition of a concept is, but how to apply it and whether you're understanding it. Now, in addition to the support that we have that tracks each one of the chapters in Essential Skills, we also have several other labs on the site. This one that we're looking at right now is the Citations Lab, and this is where you can practice both reading and writing state and federal citations. And a citation is that series of letters and numbers that you see after a case name. So as soon as you look at it, you know exactly where you can find that case, when it was decided, and in what court it was decided. So it's really important to both understand what you're looking at when you look at a citation, but also how to write them as well. Because in your legal writing, when you are citing to a case, you want to make sure that you include the correct citation so your reader or your audience can look up that case if he or she wants to. Now, we also have tons of mock exams on the site for every chapter, every segment. The materials and essential skills are broken down into segments. We have mock exams so you can test yourself on the material. Now, these are just for you. They are for your review. You're not graded on them. Your instructors don't see them, but it is a good area of the site for you to make sure that you understand the concepts. Now, when you are working through the mock exams, you will get instant gratification. Find out what you got right, find out what you got wrong, and as you can see right here, not only will you find out what you got, what the correct answer is, but why it's the correct answer. And then you'll see an additional study link below so you can get more information on that particular concept if you need some help. Now, as I mentioned before, we have the additional labs on the site. I just showed you the citation lab, but we also have a law library lab. Now, this is not an area of the site where you can do actual searchable research as you would in a brick and mortar law library or online via Westlaw and Lexis, the two main legal databases that attorneys, paralegals, law firms use. But it is an area where you can familiarize yourself with the materials you'll find in a law library or online as you prepare your first writing assignments and as you are learning about legal research. So basically what you do is you click on a book in the stacks, and then you are able to click over here on these links, and the book will come up. On the left-hand side, you'll be able to take a look at the cover, the index, learn everything you ever wanted to know about this particular book, and then some. How you can use it in your legal writing, how to find what you need to find. Being an efficient researcher is an important quality for a paralegal, so it is necessary to be able to find cases, find statutes, find authority that's going to support your legal writing and arguments and be helpful to your client. You will also find out the best way to utilize all of the materials and books that you'll be taking a look at online. Do you start in the index? Do you start in a table of contents? Where do you get to what you're looking for? Now, I just mentioned Westlaw and Lexis, the two main legal databases that attorneys and paralegals and law firms use. You will have access to both Westlaw and Lexis over the course of the program. You will have Westlaw access for the duration of the program and Lexis access for 1 year from your start date. So even once you have completed the program, you will still be able to research on Lexis and hone your legal research skills. Now, they are substantially similar. One of my colleagues likes to describe them as Google for lawyers. And then, students log into Westlaw and Lexis and their mouths drop because it's certainly a little bit more complicated than Google. But They, as I mentioned, they are substantially similar and have lots of databases for you to click around and places to look for the cases and statutes and such that you are looking for. Now, you learn both, and we'll just go to the Lexis sign-in page now. You learn both because they are very, very expensive in practice, and you do not know what you are going to get. When I first started practicing, we had Westlaw, and then a Lexis rep called one day and gave us a better deal, so we switched to Lexis. So it is important that you are comfortable with both of them because, again, you don't know what you are going to get in practice. Now, in practice, also, Westlaw and Lexis are very, very expensive. So as you are researching with, say, a firm, Westlaw or Lexis login, as the clock is ticking, the dollar signs are going up. So another reason to be an efficient researcher so you can get on and off both sites, find what you need to find as quickly as you can, and then log off so those dollar signs don't go up, which are then passed along to your client. Here in the program, you can log into Westlaw and Lexis as much as you want. You can stay on for as long as you want. This is your opportunity, again, to get comfortable with both. So when you are in practice and the cost is being passed along to the client, you will be able to find what you need quickly. Okay, now Westlaw and Lexis also, I should note, have amazing resources on each of the sites. You can see right here, there's a link for how-to videos and support resources. But they have amazing videos that you can take a look at, how to find a case, how to research a statute. They have tutorials, they have webinars that they do, but they have lots of wonderful, wonderful resources on each one of the sites that we recommend that students look into to, again, get comfortable so they can be efficient. You also may have noticed when we were looking at the resources folder slide that there was a Westlaw and Lexis folder, and there's lots of stuff in there to assist with utilizing these two databases. And then the final lab that I want to talk about with you is the writing lab. Now, there's no reinventing the wheel in the law. If you have drafted a summons and complaint, that same summons and complaint for an automobile accident case 6 months ago, and a new similar case comes into your office, you're not going to start the new complaint completely from scratch. You're going to take a template from the previous case. You're going to take out the old facts. You're going to put in your new facts, and you're going to have a nice summons and complaint to file. Now, I used to be able to say, I can count on one hand the number of documents I've started completely from scratch over the course of my career. I've been practicing for almost 17 years now. So I have to say two hands at this point. But I always use templates for everything. Everybody uses templates for everything. So, we definitely want to get you started with that. And certainly if you have no idea what a summons and complaint even looks like, you need some frame of reference. And so you can find that frame of reference via the writing labs on Paralegal Space. Now, you will have access to the New York templates, but we do have templates for all U.S. states and the federal jurisdiction. When you are working in the writing lab, you will click on the tab for whatever document you are working on at the top of the page. And then over here on the right-hand side, you'll choose that document, and then you can receive step-by-step instructions about its drafting. So in this first drop-down box, you can listen to an audio lecture about the document, and then in the second one, you can take a look at all of the various components that you need to include in your document and why. So very helpful for drafting all of the legal documents that you will draft for your essential skills class. And then finally, just a couple other fun things on the site. We have a way for you to track where you've been. If you have been on a particular page within the study support, as you can see, the little dot will be green. If you have not been there, it will be red. This is simply a convenience for the students. If you would like to use it, if you would like to keep track, only you can see this. But certainly it is a good way to ensure that you have worked through all of the support available to you within a particular segment. And then finally, once you have successfully completed the paralegal program and graduated, we move everybody over to a graduate site. Now, one thing I did neglect to mention that on Paralegal Space, you also will submit all of your assignments and take all of your exams on the site. So one very important thing that you need for the program, because obviously there is a big technological component to it, is a computer that you're comfortable with, that you don't want to throw out the window, that's not crashing every 5 minutes. Certainly have word processing skills and email address. I don't even think I have to say that anymore. Everybody has an email address, but nothing ever surprises me. Um, so the one thing that will be different on the graduate site once you are moved over after having completed the program is that you will no longer have those pesky exams and assignments that you will probably be very happy to put behind you, but you will still have the same resources, the same support. You'll have access to our forms database and be able to utilize all of the same templates and additional templates that you utilized in the program. Also, one question that we get quite a bit is in regard to jobs. PACE does not offer career placement, but there are a couple things that we do to assist you as you are getting out there into the legal community. You can see right here in front of us, recent announcement, job posting. We are constantly getting job postings from firms, legal departments, attorneys in the New York area. When those come in, we will post them on the graduate site for all of our graduates, but we also post them on the sites for current students. We have over the years had a lot of current students who have applied for jobs while they are taking the program and actually got those jobs, and then found themselves with a much busier schedule than they expected. But you just never know when something's going to hit. So we do post job postings that come into us on all of our sites. You will also have in your essential skills class a job strategies section where your instructor will go through with you proper resume writing technique for a legal position, cover letter, all of that good stuff. So certainly that will help you hone in on on your skills and what you want to convey when you are looking for a job in a law firm or legal department. Now, I've had students, and there's one in particular who have asked me about those who don't have any legal experience, and that's fine. In particular, I had someone come up to me at an information session once, an in-person one, and very dejectedly told me that he had zero legal experience, but he was really interested in getting into the law and was just concerned about his job prospects because he didn't have that experience. And so I asked him what he did for a living, and he was an EMT. And so I then started cross-examining him, of course, but I asked him, do you have you have good people skills? Correct. Yes. You work well under pressure? Yes. You're able to multitask well, jump from one task to another without issue? Yes. Well, those are all skills that attorneys look for in their paralegals. And just because he obtained those skills in a different profession doesn't mean that they aren't skills that aren't attractive to a law firm, to an attorney. So this always comes out sounding negative. It sometimes comes down to the spin you put on your skills that can help you, catch the eye of an attorney when you are looking for a job. But that's stuff that you'll talk about in that job strategy section of essential skills. All right, now this is PACE Downtown. If you have not already done so, I would encourage you to take the program test drive at paceparalegalstudies.com. You can get more information about the program, click around on a little modified version of the site, take a practice test, see what you're in for. Now, as far as it's our current semester, I can't even say it's our upcoming semester because our fall semester 2 classes have already started, but we have 2 more starting within the coming days. So now our Midtown our Midtown weekend class, Saturdays, that's already started. That started a month ago. But our Tuesday, Thursday Midtown class, that starts next Tuesday, October 17th through February 27th. Every Tuesday and Thursday evening, you will find yourself at Pace Midtown, which is at 5th Avenue and 45th Street, a great location right around the corner from Grand Central, so very convenient. You will have essential skills on Tuesday nights and your substantive classes on Thursday nights. Now, our PACE downtown evening class, Monday, Wednesdays, that already started exactly a month ago today. But up in White Plains, that weekend class is starting this Saturday at the Pace Law School, and the Pace Law School is beautiful. So the Pace Law School, we are very lucky to have our classes there every Saturday, 10 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. You will have essential skills from 10 to 12, then you'll have a lunch break, and you will pick up your substantive class in the afternoon at 1 o'clock. So October 14th through March 3rd. Now, if you are interested in either of these upcoming classes, certainly they're starting soon, so you want to get your ducks in a row for them. But also keep in mind for all of our classes in general, and this also goes to our spring semester, and then next fall we have 2 semesters every year, spring and fall. Our spring 2018, that's hard to believe, 18 semester will be starting usually 2 to 3 weeks after the end of the fall semester. So, mid to late March or so, you can expect the spring semester to start. We do cap our class sizes. That's the point I was getting to. We do cap our class sizes at about 25, sometimes less depending upon the size of the room we have that semester. Certainly we don't want any students to feel overwhelmed in a big lecture hall type setting where you may not be able to get a word in or ask any questions of your instructors. And certainly our instructors, who of course are practicing attorneys and judges and have stuff going on outside of the classroom, just as you have things going on outside of the classroom, don't want to judge, don't want to judge either, but don't want to grade 50 summary judgment motions at the end of a semester. Now, the tuition for the campus program is $49.95 plus books, which are approximately $600. Just for being here this evening, you do get a $200 discount should you register, and we have all of your names, and Jamie will follow up with you, so don't worry. We know who you are to be able to apply the discount. As far as books are concerned, the essential skills books are a required purchase through the program because they do include technology fees for the website and also Westlaw and Lexis. But your substantive books you can purchase from wherever you would like. Amazon, Barnes & Noble, new, used, Nook, Kindle, you can even rent them. So whatever works best for you, to keep those book costs down. I would recommend, if you are taking the program, however, to purchase your procedures book directly from the publisher. We had someone look for the procedures book on Amazon once, and for reasons unknown, while it is $31.95 or $33.95, something like that, when purchased directly through the publisher, on Amazon, this one particular student found a copy for something like $1,200, and poor Jamie got a crazy email like, why would you make us buy a $1,200 book? Well, we're not. It's $33. Go to the publisher's website. Anyway, the point is there are ways to certainly keep your substantive book costs down. Now, to answer our online paralegal question, we also have an online paralegal certificate program. It is structured very similar to the campus classes, where you will take essential skills and then 3 substantive courses. So you'll take 3 substantive courses of your choice. It is open entry, so you can register whenever you would like. And once you've successfully registered and made your financing arrangements, you will be welcome to the program and paralegal space, and you will then have 1 year to complete the program. The program is self-paced, so there are no deadlines within that 1 year. You just need to complete all of the required components, all exams, submit all assignments within that 1 year. It is attorney and instructor guided, so you will be assigned an attorney instructor who will work with you, and you will, I've already mentioned, 1 year to complete the program. The tuition for the online program is $69.95, and that includes materials. So we will send you your books for the online program. You don't have to purchase them. Now, finally, before I get to Jamie, we also have online specialist programs. Now, these are structured just like the online program, open entry, self-paced. You will be assigned an attorney instructor. You will have 6 months to complete the specialist program. You will take 2 required classes and then 2 electives. But the specialist programs are for those students who already have some sort of legal baseline, whether it be a paralegal certificate, hopefully from PACE, but even from somewhere else, paralegal experience, a paralegal degree, but you do need to have some sort of prior legal knowledge and or experience in order to take the specialist programs. And we have specialist programs, and you can see a bunch of them listed here right now, but from criminal to real estate to sports to entertainment to intellectual property, we have all sorts of specialists. If you find that you are working in a law firm that specializes in that particular area of law and would like some additional knowledge about it. I should also note before I turn things over to Jamie that at the end of each semester, we have a graduation ceremony for the students who have successfully completed the program in that semester, and any online students also who have successfully completed the program are invited as well. We're actually getting ready for the spring semester, spring class graduation, which is going to be next week. But it's a really wonderful celebration of all of your hard work, your accomplishments. Students are invited. You can bring your family. We have speeches. That doesn't sound as much fun as it is. But what's most important is that you will receive a beautifully framed PACE Paralegal certificate. And there's food. So that's fun too. But it really is just a wonderful celebration, again, of all of your hard work and accomplishments, and bring your family in as well, because they will have been through it with you over the course of the program. All right, now I just turned Jamie's sound back on, and I am going to turn things over to her to talk to you about financing options. So Jamie, take it away.
Yes, thank you for that lovely presentation. So we have 2 different financing options available for this program. So the first one we have is the tuition payment plan. So the tuition payment plan is going to break the tuition into 8 monthly payments of about $624. And these are going to be due on the 1st of every month for 8 months. So the tuition payment plan is interest-free and it does not require a credit check. So for attending this evening, you'll be receiving a $200 discount, which will come off of the first month's tuition. So total due to enroll in the program would be $459, and that $459 includes a $35 payment plan enrollment fee. Now, the other option that we have is a private education loan. So with the private education loan, you would apply directly on the loan lender's website. And listed on the bottom of this slide are 3 of our most popular loan lenders. So we have Sallie Mae, Wells Fargo, and Chase Select. And it has to be a private education loan. And of course, we do have a full list of loan lenders on our website. There's a link in this presentation, but it's also on our website as well. So you would just choose the loan lender that's best for you, apply directly on their website, and then once you agree on the terms, then they will reach out to Pace University to certify the loan, and then they would disperse the funding directly to Pace University. So these are the 2 financing options that we have. And if you were interested in registering for the program, it's best to register directly with myself or my colleague, Selena Chan. Our contact information at the top of this page. And also, if you've received any emails from myself, you can, my direct phone number and email are included there as well. So it's best to register directly with myself or my colleagues. That way we know to apply a discount and to get all the paperwork in order to enroll you in a payments plan, or to have the financial aid department certify the loan. So that about does it for me, and I believe we can open up the floor to any questions.
Absolutely. So if anybody has any questions, and for anybody who logged in late, This system is really sensitive, so everybody's on mute. Again, as I mentioned, I literally just took Jamie off mute. So if you do have questions, please type your questions into the questions box on your GoToWebinar toolbar. They will pop up on my screen, and I will read them out loud so we can answer them for you. So please do feel free to go ahead and start typing. As we wait to see what questions may come in, I will note that sometimes the most important question is the one you remember to ask after we've logged off, and that's okay. You have Jamie and Selena's contact information right here, so you can certainly feel free to reach out to them with any follow-up questions that you may have. So nothing ever goes unanswered. But let's see if we get any questions, Jamie. And as I mentioned, our fall semester, 2 out of our 4 classes are in full swing already. So if you're interested in fall, we're looking at the New York City Tuesday, Thursday classes that start next week on October 17th, and the White Plains Saturday class, which starts this Saturday, which is October 14th. If that's not enough time for you to get ready to get back to school, as I mentioned, we will have a spring semester starting in mid to late March, and that will go until about late July, August or so. So every year, as I said, spring and fall PACE paralegal program. And online all the time. So if you're interested in online, you can register whenever you want, and we will get you started. Well, Jamie, I don't see any questions coming in. I
Really?
don't, I know. So I like to think that means we did a good job. Okay, all right, here's the question. I still like to think that means we did a good job, but we got a question. Um, are are we allowed to take internships throughout this program? Of course, you can do whatever you want. As I mentioned, we've had a lot of students over the years who have applied for whether it be a full-time job or an internship during the program, not necessarily knowing if it was going to stick, or just kind of wanted to get out there and start the search, and found something. So certainly you can get whatever legal experience, out. I guess I'll say out in the field that you would like as you are taking the program. So definitely encourage you to do that and see what's out there and see what kind of experience you can get. Will this program help us pass the state certification exam? Now, there is no state exam to be a paralegal in the state of New York. It's not like attorneys have to take the bar exam and you have to, take the bar, pass the bar, and then be admitted to the bar. There's no such exam or licensing requirements for paralegals in the state of New York. The exams that are out there are through various paralegal associations, legal assistant associations, one of which is NALA, the National Association of Legal Assistants. Over the years, some students have reached out expressing an interest in taking that particular NALA exam. Just, it's not necessary, but certainly students like to who are looking to continue their education and be able to put that on their resume, have taken that exam. I would encourage you to, if that is something that you're interested in, I would encourage you to look at the NALA website to see what the requirements for taking that exam are. PACE certainly meets the requirements as far as the education is concerned, but there are certain other educational requirements and other things that you will need to meet. But as far as any kind of state certification exam, there is no such thing in New York. So you can just start working whenever you want. This one is for you, Jamie. A student will be attending the program online. Should the student apply for financing before registering?
So applying for a private education loan, okay, so to apply for a private education loan, it is best to register for the program first, and then I will send you all of Pace University school codes that you'll need to enter when you apply for the loan. Also, by doing it this way, once the loan lender reaches out to the financial aid department, they will see your registration and will be able to certify the loan. So if you apply for the loan first and then you're approved, and if they reach out to PACE and you're not registered for the program, PACE won't certify the loan. So it's definitely best to register for it first, and then I'll send you all the information on the steps on how to apply for a private education loan, and then we will certify the loan on our end.
Okay. All right. This is a grading question. You mentioned that the passing grade for all exams is 70. If one struggles passing these exams and does not meet the required passing grade throughout the entire program, can the student take the program over without having to incur additional cost? Now, you need to get a cumulative in each course component of 70 or higher. So in essential skills, you're going to take 3 exams. 2 of them count for 25% of your grade, and the third one counts for 50%. You need a cumulative 70 or higher. There are lots of assignments for essentials, and they're all weighted differently, so I'm not going to get into the exact weighting of them, but also 70 or higher. For each one of the substantives, class participation is 25%, the assignment is 25%, and your exam will be 50%, again, 70 or higher. Now, certainly we try to work with students who are struggling over the course of the semester. If there's, if the student is doing everything that they are, I guess, supposed to be doing as far as, coming to class and doing the reading and working the support, and maybe is just, not a great test taker. It happens. We'll certainly, take a look at the individual circumstances of a student who is having problems and possibly offer some extra credit or something like that. It's the students who who have issues, who may not be coming to class or may not be utilizing the study support, and really aren't, putting the effort in, or just, you'd be surprised sometimes, students just stop coming to class, and then all of a sudden when it comes to graduation, what can I do to, to pass? And it's, well, where have you been all this time? So, we definitely try to work with you over the course of the semester if you're having issues. Again, it is a case-by-case basis kind of thing. But there are opportunities, if necessary, to resit the entire program or various components of the program. There is a fee, however, but there are minimal fees as compared to paying for the program all over again. I think that if you need to retake the whole, I don't want to guess, but I know if you need to retake a substantive, I believe it's something like $500. And then you would do that online. You would retake that online. But I always like to be positive when students are going into the program and say, just work hard, do what you need to do, and, communicate with us and let us know if you're having any issues. But certainly, there are options to resit for a slight fee. Will this program help with making a decision on applying to law school? Oh, when I saw you type that, I got so excited because the answer is just a resounding yes. I wish I had taken this program before I went to law school. This is kind of like the first year of law school. You're going to be taking torts, you're taking procedures, you're learning about legal writing. You're going to do more legal writing and draft more substantive documents than I drafted in my first year legal writing class in law school. You are contract law. You are going to have such a great base for law school if you decide that that is the next step that you would like to take. You could probably sleep through some of those classes. You'll have such a great base. I wouldn't recommend it, but you certainly could. It really is amazing preparation for law school. Also, it will give you a good idea if you like the law. You definitely want to know if you like the law before you go to law school. You don't want to, get into law school's 3 years. So you want to make sure before you commit to those 3 years, and I like to describe those 3 years. I love law school. Not a lot of people say that. I mean, it's hard. Yes, it is. It's a lot of work. It was my whole life for 3 years. Um, so you're basically living in a law school, in a law bubble for 3 years. So you definitely want to make sure that you like the law before you make that commitment, both personally, professionally, and financially. I'll be paying my law school loans from the grave. So yes, definitely it will help you make a decision about law school. And if you do decide to go to law school, you will have just such a wonderful baseline for your first year. Okay, anybody else? Any other questions? Any other questions from anybody? I'll give you a minute to type in your questions. Again, as I mentioned, you can certainly reach out to Jamie after we have finished the webinar this evening if there is a question that you did not ask. We're always ready to answer your questions, so please do feel free to reach out. Jamie, as we wait to see whether any additional questions are coming in, do you have any final thoughts you would like to share this evening?
So let's see, we'll be closing registration for the Saturday class on Thursday, and then for the Thursday class on Monday. And then if you're still deciding, we will be having our dates finalized for our spring semester within the next, I would say, week or so. Registration will be opening up for spring within the next week or two, I would say. And then once we have those dates, it'll be posted on our website. And of course, I can always email those dates as well. So we are finalizing spring right now if fall might not work out. So we will have those dates within the next week or so.
All right, 2 questions for you, Jamie. Is the 8-month payment plan the only option for tuition pay?
Instead of a private education loan or paying in full, yes.
And then are there still seats available for the Midtown class on Tuesday and Thursday?
Yes. We have, I would say, about 5 seats left.
Excellent. Okay, anyone else?
And of course, the best questions are always the ones that come to mind after we leave the webinar. So of course, do not hesitate to reach out to myself. I'd be more than happy to answer your questions or further discuss the programs, or if you think of anything else after attending this evening.
Excellent. So if we don't have any further questions, as I draw it out, I guess we will call it a night. I want to thank you, Jamie, always for your help with our webinars. I would like to thank all of you for being here this evening. Another question, Jamie, the deadline for registering for the Midtown Tuesday, Thursday class.
Monday. We'll be closing registration Monday. Monday at about 2 o'clock.
Classes start on Tuesday the 17th. So Monday the 16th, we'll be closing registrations. All right, I'll wait another second to see if anything else. Don't want to rush anyone, of course. We're here to answer your questions, so don't want you to feel that we're logging off prematurely. We are here. Jamie, as far as registration is concerned, can registration be done online, or do you recommend a phone call?
Registration can be done online if you're paying in full, but I would actually recommend a phone call so that way I can assure that the $200 discount gets posted to the account. And so if you are also enrolling in a payment plan or a financing option, it can only be done over the phone. So I will take the first month's payment, which will be $459, that is due at enrollment, over the phone, or be providing the necessary documentation for a private education loan. So best to definitely just give me a call at my direct line and I can assist.
Okay, anybody else? Anybody else? All right, going once, going twice. Okay. Again, any follow-ups with Jamie, you can find her information right here. Also the information for program manager, Selena Chan. They are both incredibly knowledgeable and helpful and know all the ins and outs of getting you ready for the program and the program itself. So please do reach out to them with any follow-up. But I would like to thank all of you for your attention, for your interest, for your enthusiasm about the PACE Paralegal program. And certainly we hope to see your names on rosters and your faces in classrooms, whether they be ground classrooms or virtual faces in online classrooms. So Jamie, once again, thank you so much for everything tonight.
Of course, it's always my pleasure, and thank you.
Of course, my pleasure as well. And thanks to all of you for being here and have a wonderful evening. All right. Good night, everybody. Thank you.